to make the announcement now. Stay here. You can play just in one moment. I'm going to make an announcement. Your attention, please. Good morning, everybody. You're all very welcome to the opening ceremony of this academic year, 2021-2022. Before we begin the ceremony, we'll be treated to a performance by internationally renowned concert pianist Mr. Radosław Sobczak, who will be performing one of his original compositions for us. Thank you, Mr. Sobchak. I'd like to invite you all to remain seated in comfort until such time that the guest of honor has had a chance to enter the auditorium, at which point I will ask you all to rise and to applaud politely when she enters. Thank you for your patience. I'd like to invite you all now to please rise in order to welcome the guest of honor to the auditorium. Today's guest of honor is the Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, Ms Olha STEFANISHYNA. Ms Stefanishyna is accompanied into the auditorium by Ms. Madame Ewa OŚNIECKA-TAMECKA, Vice-Rector of the College of Europe. We'll begin today's opening ceremony with a performance by the Chameleon Choir of Ludwig van Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Please, everybody remain standing for the choir's performance. You may be seated. The Chameleon Choir is led by Madame Katarzyna Boniecka, who has led successive choirs here in the college over many years. Among the members of the choir today are 4 former members of our college community, and we are very happy to welcome them all back to the campus today. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to give the floor to the Vice-Rector of the College of Europe, Madame Ewa OŚNIECKA-TAMECKA.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, dear Prime Minister Stefanishyna, dear Ambassador Deszczyca, dear guests, dear professors, dear colleagues, and dear students of the Éliane Vogel-Polsky Promotion, and dear viewers who are with us online. We are streamlined. It is my great privilege and pleasure to welcome all of you at the opening ceremony of the academic year 2021-2022. We are honored today by the presence of Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine, responsible for European integration and Euro-Atlantic. Deputy Prime Minister was so kind to come here to Natolin to deliver an opening speech, and we are very grateful to Olga for coming and accepting our invitation. However, we will start today's ceremony with a special address by Federica Mogherini, our rector of the College of Europe, who cannot be with us today, but she kindly sent a recorded message.
Dear Eva, dear students, it is really a pleasure for me to join you, even if only online, only virtually, with this video message for the opening ceremony of this academic year of the Éliane Vogel-Polsky Promotion. I wish I could be there with you, but I wanted to join you as much as possible through this video to welcome you to the College of Europe, first of all, to welcome you together with Eva, with our dear Vice-Rector, to the Natolin campus, and to be somehow together with you for this opening ceremony. This is a special academic year, still with some difficulties related to COVID. The situation is not normal yet, and you know very well. We have some bumps on the road. But I think that it is clear that observing all the rules and the restrictions that are needed still to be observed, and with the high level of respect for each other and attention to how we can take care of our community, we can have probably this year an almost normal academic activity, an almost normal life in campus. I will be joining you very soon for a few days that we will spend together, and we will have then the chance to discuss in person. I'm looking forward to meeting you, each of you, the students in particular of this promotion, in person in that beautiful campus in Natolin. Let me say a few words about this promotion. This is the first Patron de Promotion that I choose. After arriving as a rector here at the College of Europe exactly 1 year ago. And we had with Eva long talks about the opportunity, the appropriateness of the choice of Éliane Vogel-Polsky as our Patron de Promotion this year. It's not a very well-known figure, not even in Belgium. I speak to you now from Bruges, but it's someone that was inspiring for me from the very beginning, from when I read her name first and then looked into her profile and her story immediately. This is someone that dedicated her entire life as a lawyer and as a professor in university to addressing one of the main problems we still face in our societies, including in Europe. We have very advanced social policies, we have a very advanced situation in Europe from many points of view, but still we have a gender pay gap that is significant. We still have to address the gender issue and equality in our societies in a very consistent manner. And Éliane Vogel-Polsky, through her action as a lawyer and as a professor, helped building cases in court, but also legislation at European level to advance policies and measures to reduce inequalities, and especially gender-based inequalities in Europe. It is an issue that I think is still fundamental for us to focus on in Europe, but also for me the choice of Éliane Vogel-Polsky as patron has a meaning for the model that she can be for each of you. She was not very well known, she was not famous, she was a lawyer and a professor, an academic, a very simple person, a very normal person, as many of us are, not a public figure, not a politician, not a statesman or stateswoman. And yet, she has introduced important change for everyday life of Europeans through her action. And this, for me, is the strong message I would like to pass to you today. And I hope that this message can accompany you throughout the entire academic year. You can introduce change, you can bring change, you can work on your values and what you believe is important in our societies, in our institutions, in our political and public life, no matter what your professional profile is. You can have an impact, you can change things in whatever position you would have in the future. And for sure the College of Europe can lead you there, can bring you to having a position from where, being it in academia, being it in institutions, being it in the private or public sector or media or NGOs or international institutions, where you can have that kind of impact on your societies, your communities, the world, and Europe, namely. So you don't need to necessarily be a president like Mario Soares was, our previous Patron de Promotion. You don't need necessarily to be famous or a politician. You don't need to hit the headlines of newspapers or news on TV. You can, in your daily work, in every sector of your life, of your professional career, you can have an impact on how your society and your community and Europe can evolve. I think this is extremely important for us to realize, and for you as students of the College of Europe to keep in mind, that what you're building these months, these 10 intense months you spent in Natolin, in the College of Europe, you are building your possibility to be empowered to bring change and build change in your societies and not only in your life. I'm sure this will be an exciting year. I'm sure you will have a lot of fun, also a lot of hard time sometimes when exams will approach and when the thesis will come closer. But also, I'm sure that this year that you will spend together and we will spend together in the college, in Natolin, in Bruges, and all of us together will stay in your heart forever. This is a life-changing experience, everybody says. I think that no definition is more appropriate than this one. And I am sure that you will manage to make the most out of it. Count on us to support you and accompany you every single step of this journey. When you enter the college community, which is now a few weeks already, you're part of a family, you're part of a community that will stay with you forever. It sounds scary maybe, but it is somehow reassuring. You're entering a network that from a professional and even a personal point of view, friendships, will stay with you. Welcome, all the best for the beginning of your academic year. Enjoy this day, that is a special one, and I will see you very soon in the campus in Natolin, and we will have the chance to talk individually, I hope, for many times now, during the course of the year, and after your graduation, as you will become alumni of the College of Europe. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will see you very soon in person.
We also hope to meet our dear Rector Mogherini soon in Natolin. Dear Prime Minister STEFANISHYNA, dear colleagues once again, and dear students. Almost 30 years ago, I witnessed the opening of our first academic year here at Natolin. The guest of honor that day was the Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs, Andrzej Olechowski. In the following years, we received other distinguished guests, such as Joseph Borrell, Hans-Gert Pöttering, José Manuel Barroso, Thomas Hendrik Ilves. Last year, Svetlana Cichanowska gave an inspiring opening address. And today, we continue this tradition with Olga STEFANISHYNA, Deputy Prime Minister for Ukraine, responsible for European and Euro-Atlantic integration. I would like to take a moment with you to reflect on the origins and the essence of this tradition. Who is a guest of honor? Why do we invite them? How does this relate to you? A guest of honor is a person devoted to bringing a positive change, uniting people around a noble idea and doing it with courage. Thus, a guest of honor is a leader. The names I stated earlier include ministers of foreign affairs, presidents of the European Parliament, presidents of the European Commissions, presidents of the republics. We were also very honored to receive the leader of the Belarus democratic opposition of Belarus. We invite them to speak here to you about the vision they have, the symbols they represent, and the impact they may make on Europe and the world. There are many reasons that make us proud to have Olga STEFANISHYNA with us today. Olga, in her professional career, has worked, among others, as a lawyer, like the Patroness of this year's promotion, and she is constantly striving to use her experience to bring about change. In her capacity, she works now with a huge devotion on European and Euro-Atlantic integration of her country, a country undergoing major reforms, a country whose sovereignty and territorial integrity at the same time is being violated by its neighbor. In her person, we also receive today and salute the Ukrainian people and their struggle, not only for political independence, but for dignity, peace, justice, and all the values that every European shares and cherishes. Let me mention here that our European Civilization Chair has been conducting large-scale research projects on the three Ukrainian revolutions, examining the social mobilization from the revolution on granite in 1990 through the Orange Revolution in 2005 to Euromaidan in 2013-14. Prime Minister, let me congratulate you on the outcomes of the EU-Ukraine summit 2 days ago in Kyiv. It proved to be, I believe, a truly eventful, resultful, and promiseful step in bringing Ukraine closer to the European Union. I would like to congratulate you on this. We here at Natolin, we feel attached to the Ukrainian cause as much as Ukraine feels attached to Europe. As the President of the European Parliament, Pat Cox, said, I quote, "I recall Euromaidan in Kyiv, the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians came in search of Europe, but they found Ukraine. While Europeans who visited Euromaidan, searching for Ukraine, found Europe." The end of quote. Let this be an appeal to every one of us today to stand firmly by our European values and to support their advocates, because these values are the basis of our nations, our union, and above all, our civilization. Dear students, you are the leaders of tomorrow, so be prepared, because tomorrow starts today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now I want to give the floor to our guest of honor, Olga STEFANISHYNA. Olga, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ewa. Thank you, colleagues, students. Well, it's a great honor for me personally to be here, invited, and have the honor to give some remarks from the perspective of Ukraine. Having this introduction, I've been thinking that if back in 2008, when it was the last time and the first time when I was here in the College of Natolin, I could imagine that I will be delivering these remarks today in front of all of you, I was the same, just a bit more than 10 years ago. Of course, I wasn't thinking about that. But now, I think that I deserve this honor, not only because of myself, but because of my country. Because of the leadership each citizen had to show, standing for its freedom, for its independence. Back in 2014, I was a lawyer and a civil servant, like many of those people around me. And unfortunately, it's not only in 2014, but for all the 30 years of Ukrainian independence, we had so many historical situations which required the leadership. So, me being here today is the element of the story showing that whenever the country needs its nation, the nation is there. Some of us, those who felt its responsibility to survive the country, to help it, became a civil servants. Some of them was politicians. Some of them went to the army and started to preserve our borders and the borders of the whole Ukraine, standing for European values. So being here today is the honor of representing a free, democratic, strong and resilient country for me. So, and it's a great pleasure for me, of course, to represent the success story, the country of success. Nobody could imagine that since 2014, Ukraine will resist one of the strong armies in the world, standing for the European dream. Nobody could imagine that a bit more than 7 years ago, politicians can ignore the historic reality of our country and overnight say that the future of your country would look a bit different. It was a no from a nation. And this was the moment when we finally understood that it is us, the nation, the people, the leaders, the young people, who only decide how the nation looks, where we move. And now, when it is 2021, we're not only belonging to European family, we're not only aligning our economies, we're not only going through a deeper political association with the European Union, but now we're turning the page and say that we have a strong word to say on the future of the European project as itself. And just recently you referred to a EU-Ukraine summit, which has completed on Tuesday this week. And it was a very big turnover for us, because it was the first time when we were sitting over one table as partners and discussing the joint challenges we have for the whole Europe. Those related to over-globalization and related to joint market and joint economies. We were discussing the energy security and resilience in Europe. We were discussing the green transformation and climate change. We were discussing the hybrid warfare. We were discussing the COVID pandemic. All of these areas, they have no borders. They have no borders in terms of economic dimension, in terms of political dimension. These are the common challenges. And that's why it is really important that such countries as Ukraine has a word to say, has a message to deliver, and this message is heard. But what we feel when we're talking about the European project is the lack of leadership. And basically, you are those leaders who can shape up this future. And when we're talking about the over-globalization and the global challenges, everybody now are looking to the European Union and European institutions and are waiting for this leadership, how to address these challenges. But what we see is that crises and challenges are really uniting nations. But what we see right now is that there is a lack of being united over values and principles. And that is why it is extremely important for me that in this very important moment of the European history, the College of Europe plays and still playing a very crucial role in uniting European nations, bringing down the barriers that still separate us, especially in a very complicated times of COVID, and still make you all feel united over values and knowledge, and keeping the memory in our minds of what has been in the heart of the European project, in the heart of the European unity. And it's really important that starting your professional way, starting your career, you are already united by the spirit, not only the word, but also by the spirit of the project itself. For us, this project is not completed yet. It is not completed without those countries who strive for that, who can contribute to that. And we really very much refer to the recent statement by Polish president saying that EU is not the club for those selected. It's the club for those united by values. So, and we hope that this philosophy would be something at the core of the future discussion. You know that back in 2000, I recollect that back in 1989, when the Iron Curtain did not disappear, yet conflicting, it just moved eastward. So there was a physical Iron Curtain fall, but still there are some curtains in our perceptions. That is why it is even more important that the College of Natolin, since it provides students with a truly unique wider perspective in Europe, holds this spirit and preserves it further. Jean Monnet very clearly defined the essence of the European integration at the beginning of the project itself. It is not just a union of states, but it is a union of people. And each of you representing different countries, and my beloved Ukraine, has its own history, its own knowledge and priorities. But all of you are united, but willingness to be successful, to be leaders, and to be the one contributing to making this country, your life, the life of your city, of your country or community better. I can only, looking into your eyes, I can only recollect the example of my country. As you know, Ukrainian youth was at the forefront of the Revolution of Dignity I was referring to in 2014. On November 2013, hundreds of Ukrainian students marched over the Maidan of independence of Ukraine to express their disagreement with the decision of the former government to refuse to sign the association agreement with the European Union. It was the students who drove the first weeks of Euromaidan. They did not let the belief of the European identity of Ukraine, its democratic development, and values of freedom, equality, and justice. It wasn't about agreement. It was about impossibility to make decisions instead of the Ukrainian people. Many of them work today in a government, as I mentioned, and they're really young leaders. And for the last 5 years, the whole public administration has been significantly transformed, and the spirit of running the country has significantly been transformed. We still have a long way to go, but the dedication, the spirit of our move towards bringing our country back to European family is there. It has even been enshrined in the Ukrainian constitution. It is really important that just over my today's flight to Warsaw, I read an article in one of the Ukrainian magazines comparing the level of support of European integration in our population, and it is extremely high. It is extremely increasing from year to year. Why? Because people start feeling the the difference in perception, the difference in freedom. We have our neighbor, Russian Federation, to compare with, and the difference is extremely, extremely strong. You know, the last years, when we're talking about bringing our country back to European family, we use a slogan, stronger together. It very much reflects everything we're doing, because this is really a symbol of European integration. It meant that only together with the EU, Ukraine will be able to face such great challenges as structural reforms and hybrid aggression. However, now we understand it in a wider and a common response to a regional and global challenges created by all the areas I've outlined. And it's very important that this year, over the meeting of presidents, it was very clear that Europe will not face these challenges without European Union will not face these challenges without Ukraine. To complete my speech, I would like to thank the leadership of the College of Europe in Natolin for their readiness to bring cooperation with Ukraine on a very new level. Last year, we really launched an important project, Natolin for capacity building in Ukraine. This project is of great importance for us as it aimed at enhancing the administrative capacity of the Ukrainian civil service for the implementation of the European practices into our legal, political, and economical framework. This is a game changer. All of you are the future leaders, future influencers, and future opinion makers. We hope that Ukrainian civil servants would look the same bright, the same young, and the same dedicated as you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Prime Minister, for these wonderful sentiments and for your presence on campus here today. I'll now welcome back to the stage Mr. Sobchak, who will be serenading us with 2 more piano performances. Mr. Sobchak is a graduate of the Frédéric Chopin University of Music here in Warsaw, and amongst a myriad of international performances, he has performed in Strasbourg on the occasion of Poland's accession to the European Union in 2004, in Muscat at the behest of the Polish Embassy in Saudi Arabia, and at a variety of different performances in various different countries. Mr. Sobchak, please. Thank you. Mr. Sobchak will be performing Minuet in G major by Ignacy Jan Paderewski and Polonaise in A flat major by Frédéric Chopin. Thank you, Mr. Sobczak. And now, to make an address on behalf of the students of the college, I would like to invite to the stage the recently elected General Coordinator of the Student Representative Board, Mr. Kylian Bourgeois.
Droga Pani Rektor, Szanowna Pani Vice-Première Ministre, Mesdames et Messieurs les professeurs et les membres de l'administration, dear colleagues, dear friends, I would like first and foremost to thank you, Madam Vice-Rector, alongside with the members of the administration, for working tirelessly on the organization of this day in the exceptional circumstances we all know. I would also like to thank our very distinguished guest for her time, her presence, and the inspiring speech she delivered, which I am sure left none in this room other than impressed. Impressed indeed, but not surprised, as in our beautiful campus, students of more than 40 nationalities come together to learn about one another, to learn about Europe in its entirety, its history, its neighborhood, and its civilization. And within this happy group, I am proud to recognize that our fellow Ukrainian students are some of the finest persons I have ever met, not least because of their characteristic elegance, eloquence, and intelligence. Natolin is a very special place, where students from all across Europe, and indeed the world, come with open minds to get a better understanding of one another. Solidarity is at the heart of Europe. It is at the heart of Poland, and it is most certainly at the heart of Natolin. C'est un lieu où l'Ouest rencontre l'Est, où le Nord rencontre le Sud. Ici, en dépit des différences sociales, culturelles, linguistiques et des différences de perceptions historiques, des étudiants de cultures que l'on a parfois opposés se rejoignent en solidarité pour accomplir des objectifs exceptionnels, esquisser le futur de l'Europe et poser les premières pierres de cette nouvelle Europe. Si Bruxelles est le centre névralgique de l'Europe, alors sans aucun doute, Natolin en est le cœur vibrant. Madam Vice-Rector, you were right to mention European values in your address. For Europe cannot be built without values and cannot be sustained without the required courage to stand up and defend these values. I believe that many young people in Europe, in this room and well beyond Europe, will share my solidarity and respect for Ukraine in its struggle for freedom, democracy, and justice. Freedom, democracy, justice. These three words have structured the journey of our patron, Madame Éliane Vogel-Polsky. Throughout her life, she fought against sexism, misogyny, and discrimination. And through her strong advocacy, she made sure that the principle of equality between men and women was considered a fundamental principle of modern European law. She represents the very best Europe produced. Her journey perfectly illustrates that there is nothing truly unachievable if one puts its mind and energy to the task. Madam Vice-Rector, you were right. The future starts today. Let us be inspired by the fantastic achievements of our patron. Let us fight inequalities and injustices. Let us stand up for democracy, and together, let us build the future of Europe. Thank you. Madam Deputy Prime Minister, to thank you once again on behalf of all members of this thriving community for your presence and your time. I am proud to be able to give you a gift on behalf of everyone. This gift is a unique graphic design that will help you commemorate this fantastic occasion, and I hope will help us and will help you remember Natolin and his students.
Natolin is always in my heart, but then I will remember it every day.
Thank you, Kilian. Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be bringing this opening ceremony of the academic year 2021-2022 to a close. But before we do so, I'd like to ask you all please to rise once more, as we'll be serenaded one final performance by the Chameleon Choir. So without any further ado, I give you Gaudiamus Igitur, or Let Us Rejoice. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings an end to the opening ceremony of this academic year. I'd like to ask you all to remain seated until such time that our guest of honour and Madam Vice-Rector have had an opportunity to leave the auditorium. Thank you.